So talking about restart, so we're going to want to dig back into this race and go back and look at what we all believe is a turning point. And this is it. This is the third to last restart. You see Ryan Blaney and Kyle Busch lined up. In front of them is Kevin Harvick on 2 tires. On this restart, Kevin Harvick gets put in the middle. Great move by Blaney. Now Kevin Harvick's in no man's land, Steve, and just going backwards.
Well, why do we talk about restarts? Because right here, it's just 2 spots, Kyle. 2 spots. How bad could 2 spots be? But then look what happens. They come on to what's now the backstretch. I got it right. An accident comes out right here. The 47 Aprice inside wall. Caution comes out. That's an entire row. 2 spots on a restart makes a huge difference because that sets him up for the next restart. Now he's behind Ryan Blaney and Kyle Busch.
Yes, he's behind them. And as we watch this restart, watch where that row goes. Watch where Blaney and where Kyle Busch goes, and then watch the 4 car of Kevin Harvick, because he's not so much in no man's land. They just split him on both sides, which just totally takes him out.
Yeah, he split on both sides, and he said his car just didn't go on 2 tires. And look at Blaney on the outside. He makes this move. He's able to get there. Harvick on the bottom underneath Johnson, gets into the side of Johnson. Now that slows his momentum. Watch both sides of him, inside, outside.
Yes.
They've split him. Now your momentum is dead. You're in the middle driving into turn 3 at Phoenix. That's trouble. So in those 2 restarts. All right, here's Kevin Harvick on the same strategy that the 12 car was on. Kevin Harvick, because of his 2 tires, his car not driving well, didn't like the way it drove, got put in a bad spot. Boom, right there. Chance to win the race is gone.
Every driver said track position. 2 restarts, 8 positions. Game over. Game over. You're not going to make that back.
Okay, but and we watch this, and you go track position, lost in the first one. Track position, lost in the second one. When we had the next caution, what happened?
Well, so then at this point, they're so far back, he says, you know what, we're going to have to pit. Because now we're on the wrong strategy. Right, so if you look at the final restart, right, and you see, look where, okay, Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney, they battle for the win. Where is Kevin Harvick? Man, you better have some good eyes because he is way back there. They did that because they know they're beat on this strategy. Try to come get tires, but here's the problem. What's Phoenix look like from row 8, 9, 10? You think these restarts look crazy here? We jump on board with the 4 car. Look at this. Where are you going to go, Jeff? Going to go the apron? Going to go up the track? There's cars everywhere. You're stuck. You ain't going anywhere with those tires.
Yeah, it's the only. We talked about it earlier. You can't be in denial. You have to accept the situation you're in. That's the situation in the end. Coming in and putting on tires is the right thing for them to do. But you can see here's Blaney and Busch. They're battling for 3rd spot. Eventually, you know, Blaney gets the lead. That's why restarts matter, and that's why when you're watching a race, I think it's so important at home when you're watching a race. Really be looking deep in the field. Be looking at the guys that you think have a shot to win this race, even if they're not starting on the front row. How do they get through traffic? Who bogs them down? What happens? Do they spin their tires on a restart? All those things matter to who can win the race. That race was not won or lost on the last lap. It was won throughout and lost the whole day. Think about Chase Elliott. He got penalized on the first lap. There's over 300 laps. There's a long time to make it up, but without a really fast car, how do you get all the way back to the front?
Well, it's simple, right? The turning point in every race can be a pit stop. It can be what the leader does. Kyle Busch was the best car all day. I believe Ryan Blaney gave themselves a chance to win. We talked about that. And I think, look, Kevin Harvick, did he have the best car? No. But what's his nickname? The closer. You go ahead, give Kevin Harvick some clean air. So flip it. Right. Say he goes forward 2 positions, not back. You tell me on that last restart if Kevin Harvick breaks into clean air. I'm not taking anything away from Ryan Blaney, but Kevin Harvick, you give him a chance to win the race. He will.
Phoenix.
So you're saying he's pretty good there?
Yeah, pretty good.
Right.
Pretty good.
So that, in my mind, you're absolutely right. That's the turning point to me because that's when then Kyle Busch knew the 1 car he had to be.
Yeah, and look, I think fans will look at the sport and they say, well, what about what goes on the racetrack? That is the racetrack. Pit road is the racetrack. Your strategy is the racetrack. When you get there, what your plan is and how you execute it is. And we heard Eric Almirola earlier when we did the sound bites with all the drivers. And with all the drivers in that group, he was like, yeah, if you can get 4 or 5 positions on a restart, it's a lot easier than letting them get lined up and then having to find your way back. It's been that way, and it's been that way at Phoenix, even with the old cars. If we go back to 1988, that's the way it was in Phoenix, a tough place to pass.
Strategy is such a huge part of our sport, and it matters.
It matters.
You hear the drivers talk about being hard to pass. The reason it's hard to pass, it's not all aerodynamics. A lot of it's just competition. If you take a guy you're a 1/10 of a lap quicker than that guy, 1/10 of a second quicker than him, he's going to be really, really hard to pass.
I'm in your groove. I'm not going to move over.
And it's competition is just exceptionally high.
I tell people this when they talk about strategy. Daytona one year, my dad and those guys are running. They're running with Pierce and them. Comes down pit road, Dale Emmon jumps up on the wall and holds up 4 fingers. This is before you had radios.
Yeah, right.
4 fingers. The other guy comes down pit road and changes 4. They gas and go. and they win the race by half a lap. Half a lap. Strategy. That is straight up strategy. Strategy has always been.
Listen, every race has cars that can pass and overcome. Cars that can't hold their position, and everyone else. And if you're one of those everyone else, you better execute. Clint Boyer, Kevin Harvick's teammate, he was kind of one of everyone else. Not a bad car, not a great car. Where he kind of got placed, he was going to run. We saw he was the same tail of the tape as Kevin Harvick, right? He kept falling back on those restarts.
Hey, NASCAR fans. Thanks for checking out the NBC Sports YouTube channel. Make sure you hit subscribe below for the latest NASCAR news, race highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.